Good afternoon, everyone. Our topic is gender and other cross-cutting issues regarding about education, health, and mental health. So this topic is composed of three parts, which are the gender and education, gender and health, gender and mental health, which will shortly be discussed by me and my groupmates. Before we get into the discussion, first I'd like you to be aware of the objectives of this lesson. So this lesson discusses the intersectionality between gender and other cross-cutting concerns such as access to education and health services. So by the end of the lesson, you should be able to know how and why gender lens is necessary in understanding other social issues and show appreciation of intersectionality between gender, education, health, and especially mental health. Now that you are aware of the objectives of this lesson, I'd like to introduce you some terms. So the first one is social services. Social services are necessary for individuals and families to maintain social functioning and achieve their utmost potential. And examples of these services are education, food subsidies, healthcare, job training, and other more. So the second one is education. The process of teaching and learning and related activities geared towards making this process organized, effective, and responded to people's head. Education is also both the act of teaching knowledge to others and the act of receiving knowledge from someone else. Education also refers to the knowledge received through going to school. Although going to school isn't the only way to gain knowledge, since we could also be educated through our experience, since as we all know, experience is the best teacher. The third one is health, the sense of well-being, absence of disease. So lastly, mental health, sense of mental well-being which allows achievement of human potentials through positive coping. So mental health includes our social, mental, and psychological well-being, which affects how we feel, we act, and how we think. It has been noted that laws provide for equity among people of all genders. In principle, humans, regardless of genders, have basic human rights emerging from their intrinsic human dignity. Practically, these rights are translated into programs, projects, and services that are made accessible for us for the purpose of satisfying our basic needs and for achieving our highest potentials. Regardless of gender, we have seen that people are capable of making something, of creating, of making responsible choices, and of developing. This capability is promoted by resources we have access to. The state has a role in making sure that we people receive the social services we need and desire. The two primary needs of individuals are access to education and access to health services. The first topic of this discussion is gender and education. The UNICEF in 2011 report on adolescence shows that while there is already an increase in access to education for all genders, there remains to be many girls and women who are unable to go to school. Additionally, interesting trends can be observed from the 2013 Functional Literacy Education and Mass Media Survey, or for short, FLAMS. This study showed that there are more male children aged 6 to 14 who are able to attend school compared to female children. However, for people aged 15 to 24, there are actually more females who are able to go to school compared to males. So, bali sila, no? This may mean that while there are more males who are able to receive basic education, there are more females who are able to proceed higher education. Practically, this only shows that interventions towards making decision accessible to women and men may also differ, encouraging young girls to go basic education and providing opportunities for men to earn college degree.
So, good afternoon. I'm Rosmar Gabriel C. Torigusa. So, next is gender and general health. Another basic social services we all need is health service. Health, according to the World Health Organization, does not only mean absence of disease, but a state of well-being. So, kanang well-being, mauna siyang state of being comfortable and happy. So, dili pasabot na wala kay gibatsyag na mga sakit-sakit, kay healthy na kaana. So what it means to be healthy is that malipayon ka o komportable ka sa imong mga paglihok-lihok. The Department of Health of the Philippines follows a cluster approach in health, wherein there are more primary clusters. So A. Public health. The science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and improving quality of life through organized efforts and informed choices of society, organizations, communities, and individuals. Usa ka example ani kay kanang vaccination program sa government para maprotektahan ang mga Filipino citizens against COVID-19. So dako kay nig natabang ang vaccination program sa pag-secure sa public health. B. Water sanitation and hygiene. Inadequate drinking water, sanitation and hygiene or WASH pose critical health risk to all children but have additional implications for the health, psychosocial well-being, and mobility of women and girls. So we can't live without water, so obviously, importante gid kay ni natay limpyong tubig na mainom. Next kay ang hygiene. So every gender kay naa sila lahi na hygienic needs. So lahi ang hygienic needs sa mga men, lahi pod ang hygienic needs sa mga women. Og importante pod ning proper hygiene labi na karon na naagyapon ang COVID-19 virus. So importante na limpyo ato lawas para dili ta dali matakdan sa virus. C. Nutrition. All gender and age groups are entitled to equal access to nutrition services and the foods they need to live a healthy life. So again, karon na time na naay COVID-19, gitagaan gid og pagtagad sa DOH ang nutrition sa mga tao tungod kay kung kulang tas kaon or ang ato gikaon kay permanente na lang unhealthy foods, masina ang ato depensa kontra COVID-19. Next is everyone must have equal access to nutritional services tungod kay sa ato society karon dili na ta makaingon na men work harder than women. So kinahanglan na mas paboran nato ang men sa nutritional services. So dili na ta makaingon ana tungod kay ang mga trabaho karon sa men kaya na pod buhaton sa mga women. So all gender must be treated equally in terms of nutritional services. D. Mental health and psychosocial support is essential for improving the well-being of people affected by humanitarian emergencies. It is important to strengthen the resilience of individuals and their families to help them cope with adversity during and after a crisis. So karon na pandemic crisis gud ta. Dili lang ang physical health ang naapektuhan sa usa ka tawo, apil na pod ang iyahang mental health. So sa nakita nato karon sa mga balita, mas nagkadaghan ang mga tawo na na-depress karong pandemic. labi na katong mga nawadan og mga panginabuhian. So importante na tagaan og pagtagad ang mental health sa mga katawhan labi na karon na stressful kayo ang kinabuhi. Discussing that males and females have unique reproductive health needs, this also means that in terms of health services, all genders should be able to access services. In return, health services should also be gender responsive. So ang tumong gid aning gender and general health kay matagaan og equal privilege ang each gender in terms of health services. Gender responsiveness refers to outcomes that reflect an understanding of gender roles and inequalities and which make an effort to encourage equal participation and equal and fair distribution of benefits.
So, gender and mental health. As we all know, mental health is one of the most prevalent issues that adolescents are facing nowadays. The changing environment brings also forth stressors that are not existing before. So it is really important for us to pay attention not only to our physical health but also to our psychological wellness. Moving on, in the context of gender and sexuality, some issues faced by humans related to their sexuality and to the roles they assume in the society are mental or psychological in nature. So, take na ko ani kay, the stereotypes of the society puts heavy pressure sa mental health sa mga tao. Labi na those who do not conform or dili fit sa box sa traditional beliefs. Especially there sa Philippines, conservative kaayo ang atong society, like naanay gender roles nga nakaset nga dapat mao jud ang standard. So ana akong tita, ang mga babae before kay dili dawaton og managerial positions or not even allowed to take the lead kay lagi weak, emotional, or unstable. This perception puts stress sa mental health sa mga women who genuinely wants to take the lead and make a difference. Ang uban sad kay, they view women as submissive, soft, and warm. Maunang condescending ang uban tao basta babae ka. If di ka mo follow sa ilang expected perception nimo, kay makadawat jud kag insulting words or you'll be condemned. This prevent majority of women to not speak their mind. So sa lalaki sad, they are expected to be manly in a way that is violent, aggressive, and rash. Mao ni ang stereotypical concept in which makastress sad sa mga lalaki because it prevents them from being vulnerable, from opening or speaking up about their emotions. Expected sila nga mo-dominate, and this expectation is at some point kay harmful to men. Both of them kinaasay na attach nga jobs, tasks, gestures, clothing, and other forms of expression. If mo-deviate ka or mo-against sa unsay nakasanayan nimo, mo negatively react jud ang majority sa society and thus putting stress sa mental health. People who are non-binary or those who belong to the LGBTQ community goes outside the boxes. They challenge the norms, maunang most of them experience harsh discrimination ug ang uban dili dawaton sa family. Kay wala ga-match sa unsay nakadak-an nga beliefs. And this results to various emotional traumas and puts mental health at risk. Sadly, some of them kay need pa jud nila mag-work thrice as hard for people to accept or acknowledge their gender, orientations, and expressions. Like, need pa nila magtrabaho or mag-excel sa academics para dawaton as homosexual or bi. The society can't seem to just accept that they exist. Connected na pud ani ang relationships. Harmful sa mental health when friends, family, co-workers, classmates, or people important to them are homophobic. Fortunately, people nowadays are slowly opening up to the concepts, though naaghapoy discriminations, but di na as harsh as sa una. So, naata diri mga issues nga maka-affect sa mental health sa usa ka tawo. First kay coping with sexual and reproductive health issues. like kanang teen pregnancy. Example, ikaw mabuntis, then wala kay ipon. Unsa imong ma-feel niya? Unsaon pud nimo pag-ingon sa imong family? Di ba, ma-stress ka? Nya example pa jud after ka nakabalo nga nabuntis ka, nya nakabalo pa pug ka nga na positive ka sa HIV, so samot jud ka ba problema. So samot jud ka problema. And that can lead to far worse mental health issues. Next kay psychological impact of SOGI-related concerns and gender roles and expectations. So SOGI means sexual orientation and gender identity expression. So as we all know, LGBTQ is specific to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, but SOGI refers to characteristics common to all human beings because everyone has a sexual orientation and a gender identity. Everyone also expresses their gender, not just the LGBTQ. So example ani guys kay ang SOGI kay di ba lagi sexual orientation and gender identity expression. So like example, imo na i-express imong gender identity sa society as bi or gay, pero dili jud na malikayan nga naa jud mo discriminate nimo, then usa na ang discrimination pod nga maka-affect sa mental health sa usa ka tawo. So maong dako siya og psychological impact. Next kay psychosocial concerns emerging from intimate or romantic relationships. So intimacy is a choice to open yourself up to others and share who you are and your experiences so that you can create lasting and strong connections. When you put yourself out there and have that trust returned, you develop intimacy. And if katong nga efforts are rebuked or you're rejected in some way, you may withdraw. Sample, imong gisultihan imong best friend sa imong pinakadako nga secret. Syempre, best friend nimo siya, so salig yung kay kaniya. Nya ang nahitabo, iya man gisaba sa lain ang imong secret, so it means naguba jud ang imong trust sa iya ha. And tungod ana, imong i-withdraw himself anak nga tao. Syempre, nawad ana kag salig niya, so mopalayo jud kaniya. Worst case, kay magka-trust issues na ka and di na ka mosalig sa mga tao. Imo na i-isolate imself sa mga tao. So, dako gina siyang impact sa imong mental health because maabot ng time because ang permi na lang nimo hunahon ana kay wala na kay masaligan or mahalok na ka mosalig kay basin mao ra gihapon i-betray or gihapon ka. Next kay psychological trauma from GBV. So GBV means gender-based violence. So women worldwide have experienced either physical or sexual intimate partner violence or non-partner sexual violence. So kasagaran aning GBV nga victims kay mga babae like rape, makahatag na sa ilaha og trauma. But not just babae pod, like sa lain pod nga gender, like katong i-present sa last nga reporter ba, katong gay, di ba nga wala ra siya gibuhat, then naglakaw ra siya, then gipatiran siya og kalit. So dili ra siya physically nga nasakitan, but also naapektuhan pod na iyahang mental health. Hence, there is also a need to establish systems so people would have access to services that address these issues. So for example, sa school, katong mga students nga na ay concerns regarding mental health, pwede sila maka-approach sa mga counselors. Kaya ang mga counselors, pwede sila maka-deal sa mga mental health concerns sa mga students. Ang uban school pod and other workplaces kay naapoy mga psychologists, psychiatrists, and also social workers. So maka-provide po ni sila og additional and more specialized help. So to sum up everything, this lesson only underscores that gender and sexuality principles are not only exclusive to those people who are specializing in these topics. In fact, Having a clear and solid gender lens will help us perform our task better in whatever field of expertise we are in. This lesson emphasizes that in various spheres, making sure that unique issues, concerns, and need of women, men, and LGBTQ+ shall bring us closer to our desire to promote human rights and uphold human dignity. And that's all for this lesson. Thank you for listening.